Join us, come and waste an hour or two. We've got magic to do just for you and you and you and you and you. Welcome to Studio Tenn Talks. I am Patrick Cassidy. I'm the artistic director for Studio Tenn. I am so happy that you guys are with us tonight. You are in for a very, very special show. Tonight is a performance show. It is incredible. Before we start, I want to just tell you that on August 27th of next month, we are going to present our first virtual variety show. Now, this isn't going to be an incredible thing that you can get tickets to. We are going to have stars here in Tennessee perform. We are going to have stars in Los Angeles perform. We are going to have specialty acts. I can't tell you what the specialty acts are, but they're like, great flamethrower. No, they're not, but they're great acts. And you can get your tickets, and we serve a meal. It's a big deal. It's the first ever for Studio Tenn. We're so excited about it. Tickets go on sale next week. Look for it. It's the virtual variety show for Studio Tenn, and it's just going to be great. I can't wait. You can get your tickets at studiotenn.com. So, without further ado, I want to get into the show because we have a lot of performing tonight. You guys it's such a special show. We haven't done it like this before, so I'm excited. So our first guest is amazing. She is the artistic director for the Shakespeare Festival. Denice Hicks has been working for the Nashville Shakespeare Festival since 1990 and has held the position of artistic director since 2005. She has edited, directed, and performed in over 50 Shakespearean productions. She moved to Nashville in 1980 to perform at, Denice, Opryland. She moved here to be at Opryland. She was an original company member of the Tennessee Repertory Theater and was among the founders of both the Dark Horse Theater and the People's Branch Theater. She has an Ingram Fellowship Award winner. And her work has been praised by the Tennessean, the Nashville Scene, and BroadwayWorld.com, among other publications, from which she has received Best Actor and Best Director acknowledgments. She has been a member of Actors Equity her entire career, but not anymore. And we're going to talk about that. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Denice Hicks. Hey, how are you? Oh, we lost you. Where are you? Are you coming back? Did you leave?
Here I am.
There you go.
Thanks, Patrick. That intro makes me tired. It's been so much work.
But what a resume you put together. What a career. What a life in the theater you've gotten to live.
Well, it's the only thing I can do, I think. So I just kept doing it.
Well, we're going to show a little photograph, and I do mean a little photograph of when you got your start. There she is, ladies and gentlemen. Tell us where that is from and what you were doing.
My mother was the assistant director for a VFW traveling minstrel show through the 60s and up until the end of the Vietnam War. We would go to veterans hospitals and entertain the boys. So that it was a variety show with music, mostly songs and jokes and instrumentals. And when I was 5, she put me on that box and she said, "Sing, just keep singing."
Sing out, Denice. We're getting Chris Kimbler. Hey, Chris. Chris is he's my accompanist in Los Angeles. We got Susanna Smith White. She's a gem. She's referring to you.
She's a gem.
Anyway, so you've been doing this your whole life. Did you do musicals in the beginning of your career? Was that a big part of your career?
Yeah, my whole family was very musical. So my mother sang, my sisters sang, my older sister plays piano, the other sister plays guitar. Well, they both play guitar. My brother sang. So it was very musical. We sang a lot just as a family, back in the 60s. We didn't have the internet. So
my family knows nothing about that.
Right? Exactly. Well, that was what really kind of bonded a family, was to sing together,
Right.
So we would, on drives and things, we were all singing. I was always, I learned to sing harmony because my mother would sing melody. My older sister sang below her, and my next sister sang above, and I had to find like more interesting vocal parts to put in there. So
So it could be the Hicks sisters and the Andrews sisters.
Yeah. Kind of the bohemian version of the Andrews sisters, I guess.
Tell me when then did you get your equity card? How old were you?
22, maybe 23 with the rep. So what is now Nashville Repertory Theater was Tennessee Repertory Theater. And before that, it was Southern Stage Productions. So I left college with the dream of being a member of a repertory theater company and landed in one of Mac Perkel's very first shows in Nashville. And voila, I was a member of a repertory theater company. So.
And not only for the rep, and you've worked for Studio Tenn, and you've done it all here. And have you? Okay, so then what was your first show then for Shakespeare? I mean, what was your first show for the Shakespeare Festival? For
the Nashville Shakespeare Festival, my very first show was a German expressionist play called Not I Land. It was two actors, me and Mark Cabus, with our costumes were long johns, and we wore the tops on the bottoms and the bottoms on the tops, and bathing caps and masks. It was this bizarre German.
I'm wearing on the bottom here on Zoom right now. I've got the long johns on the bottom and the nice top.
Yeah, so that was the first show we had. Those of us who were involved with the rep early days, we started a little theater called the Dark Horse Theater, where we could do more experimental, less commercial things. And so then I did that bizarre show with the Shakespeare Festival, and I said, hey, I think you guys and Dark Horse are really aligned. So we merged those companies back then in 1990. That was.
Wow. And then from then on, you stayed a part of the
Shakespeare. You know, I had loved Shakespeare from high school because I had a fantastic English teacher who loved Shakespeare and just instilled that love of language and poetry and drama and storytelling in me. I had a fabulous drama teacher in high school, Judy Roman, who had been a Rockette, and then we were so blessed to get her at our high school.
And you must have continued, and I found this out only recently when we did our tech test. So then you went on to Point Park University. Is that correct?
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
Point Park, it was, the closest school. So I grew up outside of Philadelphia, and then Point Park was like staying in state, but the farthest I could get from home. And it also felt like the big city to me because I kind of grew up in the country. So Pittsburgh was a great destination, and Point Park was a fantastic education.
Well, like I said to you, I found this out only recently. I couldn't believe it. I was like in shock. So, my mother went to the Pittsburgh Playhouse. My mother is a Pittsburgh native. She grew up in Smithton, a small town outside of Pittsburgh, and she was a graduate of the Pittsburgh Playhouse. And in fact, there is a Shirley Jones Honorary Award scholarship that they give to incoming freshmen. It's a wonder. It's great. So I got to actually perform in the old Playhouse that we both were aware of since they built that new facility downtown. I got to direct Oklahoma, and I got to teach a semester while I was there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's
part of why the education was so good. It was because we had working professionals on faculty always. So it was always, I got a very practical education there, and they taught me how to be a working actor. Having the Playhouse there, so we were, in classes, and then at night, we just learned to work those 14 or 16-hour days like you have to in this business. So it was a great education.
Well, I want to. First of all, I want to show, because I got to see your production of Macbeth. Before I was quarantined, I got here in January. We went quarantine in February, so I didn't get to see. But I did get to see in December your the production that Shakespeare did of Macbeth, and I want to show the little trailer, which was the thing to advertise for it. So let's bring that up.
I have one of those exactly like that.
So what is this mask from, William? What?
Sleep no more.
Yes, we had it here. I said I have to become a member of the team, so it was here.
I have one too, thanks to Tony McAllister.
Oh yeah, who's watching? I know. So that production, Denice, it blew my mind. It blew my mind. I was like, if this is my introduction to the Shakespeare Festival, I'm like, I want to sign up. It was gorgeous. It was so beautifully acted, so beautifully directed, so beautifully designed. I mean, bravo. It was so great.
Yeah, David Wilkerson directed that. He and I worked together quite a bunch. He's a fantastic fight choreographer, if you need one. And he and I had talked about that concept for a long time. I was like, David, now's the time. Let's do it. So. Well,
and it's funny you should talk about the fighting in that show. That fighting in that show was frightening. I mean, I literally thought, I can't believe how they choreographed that down to the blade like lash. Did anybody ever get hurt? Oh, Tony McAllister saying, loved experiencing Sleep No More with you.
It was such a treat. No, the fighters that we had in this year's production of Macbeth were top of the line. Like we had fight callbacks before we had acting callbacks. So everybody in that show was really, really skilled at stage combat. So yeah, they did not get hurt, and they fought, at 10, 11 every day.
It was frightening. Watch it. Well, bravo. I want to get back for a minute to you. Well, first of all, I have another picture I want to show. I'll bring up the show. I think you're playing Romeo. I think you're playing Juliet in this picture from Romeo and Juliet. Is that right?
Yes, that is at the Pittsburgh Playhouse.
Yes.
Yeah. Poor little Juliet there on the floor. That was my very first Shakespearean role. I got cast as Juliet.
Great time. You went right to the top?
Yeah.
You said, I'm going to do Juliet. My first Shakespeare.
I didn't say it, but I just didn't know better. I just went and auditioned, and they cast me. So, that's life is a lot of yes.
That is the way. I said the same thing. When I got cast as Frederick in The Pirates of Penzance in 1981 on Broadway, it was the largest Gilbert and Sullivan role ever written. And I had long hair, and I had like a pretty pop voice, but I didn't know anything about acting. And I just went in, and I got it. And I was like, I don't deserve this yet.
That's the way to audition, though, because when you care too much and you're nervous and all of that, but if you go in and just say, I'm here to have a good time, I'm going to do my best, come what may, that's a lot of times, that's the time you get to work.
Yeah. I have two more things I want to talk to you about. First of all, so you were a member of Actors Equity for how long?
24 years, 25 years. I'm not great at math. Yeah.
And I know that we are in a right to work state, and that's a whole thing about how we put non-union on equity, and then they choose to stay on it or not. Why did you ultimately, you say goodbye to your equity card, right?
Well, the primary reason is once you are a producer, if you're signing contracts, you can no longer go to membership meetings. So suddenly you're on the other side as far as equity is concerned. And that as a really active union member, being able to attend meetings and being that kind of active meant a lot to me. And as soon as I started signing contracts, when I got the artistic director position with the Shakespeare Festival, I got a stars on my card, and I couldn't go to those meetings anymore. So that was a big factor, because I really believe that it is a working labor union. It's not for people it's not a country club. Right. You get your card and flash your stars. So when I was no longer really able to participate as a working member in that way, and then at that time, the Shakespeare Festival was paying health insurance for me. I had a health insurance plan. And so I actually did it in solidarity with my union brothers and sisters. I didn't want to take their contract when I worked as an actor for the company. So because I was still, even when I was an artistic director, I started with this company as an actor and wanted to keep acting. So it allowed us as a company to save a lot of money on me, not using a contract on me, but it also allowed me as a director to have as an artistic director, have one more equity member on contract for our shows.
Well, good for you. I mean, I have to tell you, in the time I've been here, I have heard more people talk about Denice Hicks with such character. Seriously, that you have such a wonderful, fantastic reputation, not just in terms of your skill as an actor, or as a director, or as an artistic director, but the human being that you are. So that's the word out on the street about Denice Hicks.
I'll take it today. That does my heart good to hear. So thank you.
Lastly, tell me about how the Shakespeare Festival has been, what's been going on in terms of what we're going through. In terms of
I continue to have like images of a big ship. We took our sails down. We just are. Right now, we're really salvaging like what of this big ship do we really need? We may have to create a smaller, more stealthy ship as we sail into our future. So I feel like we're scaling back right now. We were very fortunate to get a small business loan, a payroll protection grant from First Horizon, and that has sustained us. And then, so we're small anyway, which really helps, I think, because our little staff, which is severely underpaid, is much easier to continue underpaying than having to manifest larger amounts of money right now when fundraising is really difficult. So we're okay. And we're just trying to figure out how to translate what we do, which is interaction, like live interaction. That's what I love about Shakespeare so much, is that the actors and the audience actually interact. So it's difficult to do. I mean, this is kind of cool.
Yeah. Listen,
we're speaking to each other in real time.
If you would cast me in something Shakespearean, I'll do a scene with you like this.
Right? I know.
I'll pray, but I'll do a scene like this.
And I've seen them work. I mean, I feel like when the going gets rough, we creatives are the people to see us through to the other side. So we have to be fearless right now. We have to stick together, you know, and I feel like this community does that really well. Like, and thank you, Patrick. I feel like you get what Nashville is all about. We are friendly. We are welcoming. We are,
And they have been to me. And the one upside to this whole sort of being, quarantine is that I've gotten to know you. I've gotten to know Ernie at the Children's Theater. I've gotten to know Drew at the Rep. We've gotten to know each other. The artistic directors have sort of come together. And for me, that's been a huge blessing,
As Shakespeare says, misery acquaints a man with strange bedfellows.
Okay. And check, please. Check. That's awesome. That's perfect. It's such a joy to have you on the show. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being in Tennessee. Thank you for welcoming me. And thank you for being so good at what you do.
Thank you. And this show has been fantastic. So I'm really what the talent and everybody that you are bringing to Nashville through Studio Tenn, and this show has really, really been just a light in dark times.
Well, we'll have you on again. Where do you see these guys, Branden and James?
I cannot wait.
Yeah, they're amazing. Anyway, great to see you, Denice. I will see you soon, either when we have a staff meeting ourselves or before that. Great to see you.
Maybe tomorrow, right?
Yeah. Bye, sweetie. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, how about that? Denice Hicks is truly an institution in terms of the arts here in town, and we are lucky to have her here, and I am lucky to know her. Okay, so now we're going to bring up these friends of mine. These guys are absolutely incredible. They go by Branden and James. You may or may not know who these guys are, but my intention is tonight is to bring them to Middle Tennessee due to their incredible talent, which you're about to see some of, and it's amazing. They are a cello and a vocal duo reinventing the rules when it comes to classical crossover music. James is known for taking familiar pop tunes and arranging them in ways that they have never been heard before. Olivia Newton-John, Idina Menzel, and Bernadette Peters are among those James has accompanied. Branden finished as a finalist on season 8 of America's Got Talent and has appeared at the Metropolitan Opera, Lyric Opera of Chicago, and Los Angeles Opera. Their debut album, Chasing Dreams, is set to drop worldwide on July 31st and includes a duet with Broadway superstar and Billboard #1 recording artist Shoshana Bean. I know her. We're going to get her on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, wait till you hear these guys. Welcome, Branden and James.
Hello. Hey.
Look at you guys.
I know.
So we had a tech test, and I discovered, I asked you a question. You guys are in a dressing room right now. Is that correct?
We are. It's officially called the costume department, actually. It says right here on the door behind us.
Oh, it does.
Yeah. We're in a small venue called the Blue Moon, which is a restaurant cabaret venue in Rehoboth, Delaware. And we're playing a show here tomorrow night. They're operating at 50% capacity. So we're just so grateful to have some work and perform in front of some live people again.
Actual people with actual applause.
Yeah. And have you guys been doing this intermittently, like a performance to half a venue, or no?
Just started this week, really. It's our first live performance since the beginning of March.
Wow.
Yeah, we played 2 shows in Ogunquit this past week.
In Maine, yeah.
You know, Ogunquit, I did Mamma Mia there. It's a good place. Do you guys know that? Remember we talked about it?
Well, yeah, we might have just overlapped. You were there a summer, right?
Yeah, it was great. Mm-hmm. So I want to tell her, because this show is we're going to show so much material, and you guys are going to sing. But I want to first get the audience clear about this. So, Branden and James. But Branden is the Branden of Branden and James. But Branden's last name is James, right?
Yeah.
Of the Branden and James is James Clark. So it's really Branden James and James Clark. Together, they make Branden and James, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you got it.
You nailed it.
You're
no one else has ever gotten that, actually. Everyone's
It's only because I know you guys. I had the pleasure. I met you through Stephen Karras introduced us, and I got to hear you guys play in Los Angeles, and I was bowled over, as you know. You guys are so ridiculously talented, and the reason I wanted you on the show is I wanted our audience to get to hear you, to get to see you, so we can bring you here. And even at half capacity, people would buy tickets to see you guys. How did you guys meet?
Well, we met. Do you want the real story or the
story we tell people?
Told our parents?
Yeah, you do. Oh, to tell the parents. No, give us the real story. You can tell the real story. You met.
To find out the real story, right?
You met online.
We did meet online.
We met online, yes, on an app, and it just so happened that James was in Los Angeles at the time, finishing his master's in cello performance, and I was living there, kind of having a hard time finding work. I just finished my contract at Lyric Opera and had been on America's Got Talent, and wanted to come out to LA and try my hand in commercial music. And I met James, and it turned out that he was a cellist.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! And you're from Australia, correct? Based on the accent?
Originally, yeah, from Adelaide, Australia.
Yeah.
So South Central Coast. But yeah, it's been 7 years since I've lived there.
Wow! And how long have you two been together now?
6.
Nearly 6 years, yeah, and married for 2.5, almost 3 years.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You can imagine the confusion when people found out we were getting married about what my last name was going to be. Everyone asked me if I was going to be James.
Yeah. Cool.
See, it gets even more confusing. You see what happens?
More confusing.
Well, we have a lot of clips today. We're going to talk more about your lives and stuff. But I first want to show Branden on America's Got Talent, because you were the runner-up, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, I was a finalist.
You and this was season 8 of the show?
Yeah, season 8.
Okay. So I believe this is, what's the song? What's it called?
You Raise Me Up?
Yeah, Raise Me Up. That's the song. I believe. Or it might be Hallelujah, but we'll see what it is. What? And you didn't win? Didn't win?
Since I actually did it, I'm literally sweating because it makes me so nervous.
That's unbelievable, Branden. Unbelievable.
Thank you. I love being on that show. It's kind of like being on a game show and a nightmare at the same time, because there's so much pressure and it's live. And there's no room for error, and So I'm literally sweating just recalling those experiences.
We've talked about this. My son Jack was on The Voice, and he said, thank God he was 17 because the pressure, and you can see it as an audience member, what you guys go through doing that kind of stuff. I don't know how you do it. I really don't know how you do it. You just get out there and you go, I'm going to do this, Oh, there's Stephen Karrasch. He says, see, I love it.
Oh,
you too. So I want to talk about, so you guys got married when? What year?
We got married January 2018 in Puerto Vallarta in Mexico.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And who played at your wedding?
We had a local band of some of our favorite Puerto Vallarta musicians play kind of Latin
mariachi kind of. It's very romantic on the seaside of this giant house that we rented. We didn't tell them until the last minute that we were having a wedding there, but they were okay with it in the end. And it was just so beautiful. Our parents were both there. Our moms walked us down the aisle.
Oh,
our parents came from Australia, and it was just
cool.
It was very special, like more special than I could. I was a blubbering idiot the whole time.
And I was Bridezilla, so it was perfect.
My wife says, just adore them. She loves you.
We adore her
Melissa,
too. I miss
her hello for us.
So tell me this, not because I know you both came from pretty sort of Christian, spiritual church backgrounds, yes?
We did.
Very, very Christian backgrounds, yeah.
Really? What about you? Where was you, James? What was your religious?
Grew the whole family up going to church, but I had a very deep faith, and then I decided to go to Bible school in Texas, in Comfort, Texas, in between my undergrad and my graduate studies. So I kind of took my gap year, as people generally have, was I took a year to go to Bible school in Comfort.
Wow. And how was that experience?
Look, things have changed a little bit since then, and so I've had to kind of reconcile aspects of my faith and my lifestyle. But while I was at school, I actually had the time of my life. Texans are very hospitable, and I had a really awesome year. Actually, I did the semesters back to front, so I started in January, and then in the summer I worked at one of their sister schools in Colorado. So I had a really fabulous year. I just had a lot of therapy when I came back.
And what about you, Branden? You too also have a pretty religious upbringing, yes, or Christian upbringing?
Yes, yeah. I grew up in Southern California in Orange County, in an evangelical church, and when my sexuality came to light, I kind of butted heads with my family, my parents, my peers, people at the church, and it took me a long time for us to heal our relationship with my parents,
mm-hmm.
for us to kind of see eye to eye and understand that loving each other was more important than anything else, regardless of our opinion and our division. And I feel like the world at large probably needs to hear that and remember that more right now than ever.
Hear. Absolutely.
Yeah. So it wasn't until I was on the TV show when my family was literally looking at me through a different lens, where they were able to appreciate the kind heart I had, and more things about me that they weren't able to recognize and see past, because they could only see my sexuality and how they disagreed with it. But now we're the closest of friends. I wrote a book about it, and I'm just happy to have them in my life, and I think they're probably watching because they're our biggest fans, or amongst them for sure.
Well, wait a minute. They have to get in line, because I might be in front. I might be just behind them, but I'm right there. Right there.
We're right up there, Mr. Cassidy. You're right up there.
I want to show our next performance thing from you guys. So this is you guys sent us some amazing footage of you. So this is from Wicked, guys. This is Defying Gravity. Watch this.
Something has changed within me. Something is not the same. I'm through with playing by the rules of someone else's game. Too late for second guessing. Too late to go back to sleep. It's time to trust my instincts, close my eyes, and leave. It's time to try defying gravity. I think I'll try defying gravity, and you can't pull me down. I'm through accepting limits, 'cause someone says they're so. Some things I cannot change, but till I try, I'll never know. Too long I've been afraid of losing love I thought I lost. Well, if that's love, it comes at much too high a cost. I'd sooner buy defying gravity. Kiss me goodbye, I'm defying gravity, and you can't pull me down. Someone told me lately, everyone deserves the chance to fly. And if I'm flying solo, at least I'm flying free. To those who ground me, take a message back from me. Tell them how I am defying gravity. I think I'll try gravity, and soon I'll match them in renown. For nobody in all of Oz, no wizard that there is or was, is ever gonna bring me
Oh, I'm never going to sing in life ever again. I'm done. I'm through.
Oh, shut. Taught me everything I know.
Oh my gosh. That is incredible. By the way, has Idina Menzel seen you sing that? Because I could put you in green and get you cast on that show immediately. Both.
Oh, we'd be happy with that.
He is quite mean, so he'd fit the role perfectly.
Oh, and you're Glinda?
Galinda. Oh, yes, I'm.
That was sorry, Galinda. That was amazing. Oh my gosh. So okay. Tell me about Branden. Tell me about when you guys got together. You had something to reveal to James. Is that correct?
I did.
And I know it's in your book. Tell us about that.
The big revelation.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to think of something clever and funny to say instead, but it lost me.
He's only got 3 toes.
We'll just go.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a big thing, but you had said to. Here's my question: When you get together with somebody, because you're HIV positive, is that correct?
Yes.
And when you get together with somebody, you just say, how does that conversation happen? How do you do that?
Well, it happened, I've been HIV positive since 2005, and I dated a fair amount of men before James, and the conversation happened all kinds of different ways. Sometimes it would happen online, and someone would run the other direction immediately. Sometimes people would be very kind and go on a couple of dates and then say, I'm just not really comfortable with this. James was different. When I told him, he said, to be honest with you, if I'd met you a couple of years ago, I probably would have gone the other direction. But now I'm educated. There's medication that can protect me. Let's a shot. So it was really easy with him.
That's why I wanted you to tell, because that is the difference. It's a discussion where people are misinformed and then they get informed, and that's awesome. That's great. How have you guys been faring with the pandemic, in terms of you guys just like the rest of us not getting a chance to go out, or have you traveled at all?
Our traveling was limited. We actually had a wonderful year planned of performances all over the country, nationally. And then in March, everything got kind of shut down. So we kind of quickly jumped onto the virtual live streaming of shows, thing that other people were doing. In fact, we watched Shoshana Bean do a show, and we were like, okay, we got to do this as well. So we did 10 or 11 shows over about 12 weeks, which was a lot. A new show every week, all new repertoire each week. New banter, and that was amazing, but it was a lot.
Yeah, because they're 90-minute shows, and we wanted each show to be different and unique. And so every day, Monday through Friday, we'd be just rehearsing our butts off, and then Saturday would be our broadcast.
And Sunday we'd fall in a heap and then do it all again on Monday.
Yeah, which was lots of fun, but it was surprisingly challenging and exhausting, even though we were sitting there in our PJs.
Well, we're going to have a little fun now. We're going to play a little game that we play on this show.
Okay.
It's called Remember the Lyric, or in this case, because you've got your cello there, James, Remember the Melody. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to sing a lyric from a song that you both know, and then you have to come back with me with the next line and the melody of it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. You better sing in all the keys that he's going to know them in.
Yeah. And just only choose songs that I know.
I'll just sit here.
Okay. This could be a disaster, but here we go.
It could be the end of my career.
Michael saved me. I know that too. So here we go. Okay. Eleanor Rigby picks up the rice in the church where the wedding been.
Look at that.
Well, for all the lonely people, where do they all come from?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Sir.
I can't believe it. I got to sing with you. Holy smoke.
It's making me sweat.
I want you guys to do something for us live. I want you guys to do something for us live that we have here, because we're going to play another one of your incredible video pieces. But do something now that we have you here. You guys have you can do Roxanne, right? The police song, is that correct?
Yeah, we've been playing this.
I'd love to hear.
Show called Rock the Opera, and this is something that's from it.
Great.
Roxanne, You don't have to put on the red light. Those days are over. You don't have to sell your body to the night, Roxanne. You don't have to wear that dress tonight. Walk the streets for money. You don't care if it's wrong or if it's right, Roxanne. You don't have to put on the red light, Roxanne. You don't have to put on the red light. I loved you since I knew you. I wouldn't talk down to you. I have to tell you how I feel. I won't share you with another boy. You know my mind is made up, so put away your makeup. Told you once, I won't tell you again. It's a bad way, Roxanne. You don't have to put on the red light, Roxanne. Oh, you don't have to put on the red light. 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 No, 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 you don't. Oh, no, you don't. Oh, no, you don't. Oh, no, no, you don't. Roxanne.
Uh-oh.
I think there's a little lag. What happened?
We suddenly can't hear you.
Yeah. Oh, oh man.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Whoa. You just did that on the fly?
Oh, there we go. We can hear you now, I think.
Wait.
Was there a lag?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a lag.
Okay.
Oh, I wonder if it's my computer.
It could be.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Let's bring you. I'm going to bring you off for just a second, then bring you back.
We'll be back in 1 minute.
All right.
We're gonna bring you off. We're gonna bring you back on.
Just a little momentary lapse.
Is that so, guys? Impressive, beyond impressive. Again.
Thank you. That was a really fun arrangement for us to put together. And
can you hear?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear us?
It's a bit.
Are we good?
Sorry.
Can you hear me or no?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear him?
Mostly.
No. Hold on for 1 second. We're having a technical difficulty.
Should we refresh our browser, perhaps?
Let me see.
Hi. Can you hear us?
You guys can host the show.
Okay, well, we can hear you.
Is that better? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The host has a muted mic. There. All right. You hear me now?
Yeah. It's just.
There might be a little lag in video, but I think it's okay otherwise.
No.
Can you guys hear me? Or are we?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Guys, that was incredible. Just incredible. Thank you for doing that live on the screen.
Sure.
There's a little bit of a delay. Phenomenal. So here's my question. Can-
Tonight won't be just any night. Tonight there will be no morning star. Tonight, I'll see my love tonight, and for us stars will stop where they are. Today the minutes seem like hours, the hours go so slowly, and still the sky is light. Oh, moon, go bright, and make this endless day, endless night. The most beautiful sound I ever heard. Maria, 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 Maria. All the beautiful sounds of the world in a single word. Maria, 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 Maria. Maria, Maria, Maria. I've just met a girl named Maria, and suddenly that name will never be the same to me. Maria, I've just kissed a girl named Maria, and suddenly I found how wonderful a sound can be. Maria, say it loud and there's music playing. Say it soft and it's almost like praying. Maria, I'll never stop saying Maria. Maria, 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 soft and it's almost like praying. Maria, I'll never stop saying Maria. The most beautiful sound I ever heard. Maria.
We can't hear you.
Hold on.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yes.
and the picture.
So while we were showing the brilliance of Branden and James, we had a technical difficulty here where we actually switched out computers because that whole middle section, I was going like this.
Yes, it looked like the robot dance.
Yeah. But I think we're back. That I just keep like gushing over what you guys are able to do. The talent of the two of you is extraordinary. It's extraordinary.
Thank you. That's big props coming from someone like you.
Oh, it is. It's so amazing. How do you guys, I always think that you guys are like the perfect pair. You never seem to, do you guys argue?
Never.
It's all over the stupidest things.
Mostly during COVID.
Because you guys spend a huge amount of time with one another. Oh, there's William. That's our development director. Say hello to William. You guys spend an enormous amount of time with each other. You're always with each other, not only in performing, but together, and obviously during the pandemic. And you guys seem to be like the perfect, couple in the world.
Thank you. We do feel very lucky and fortunate to be artists that can work together and do work together. A lot of friends of ours who are artists, have partners at home and they never see them when it's not COVID, because they're always out traveling. So we feel lucky to be able to kind of do what we love together and explore the world together. I keep saying the word lucky. We're lucky.
But to be able to share that music making connection and really delve into something that's so emotional and so raw and real when you're getting into the emotion of a song or a piece or something that you're trying to really create that together, it bonds us in a way that I think other people and other relationships may not have, and we feel very grateful for that.
I completely understand. I mean, even my wife being a dancer and a choreographer, and when we get to work together, it's a wonderful sort of like next level up in your relationship. That kind of commitment, that kind of collaboration. Yeah. It is a wonderful thing. But
to answer the question, I'll tell you one quick funny story.
Yeah.
We did have an argument once. Can I tell this story?
I don't know.
And we were rehearsing something, and it was just after New Year's Eve, so I think we'd had friends over and like had a blowout of a weekend, and we were like day after New Year's Day, we decided we've got to rehearse, get ready for the show, and we had a creative difference about something, and I said something and walked out of the room, and all he could say was "screw you," but his voice broke like that.
And I was holding my cello. I was really,
he wanted
really
to throw
angry.
Something across the room, but he was holding his cello and he couldn't do anything.
So I just yelled at the top of my lungs, but my voice broke. So then we both burst into laughed.
It's always the way to diffuse any fight is have your voice crack in the middle of yelling.
Totally. It's like, there goes any shred of credibility you had. Screw you.
James, for our viewers, tell us how much for example, that cello costs. How much does a cello cost these days?
Oh, that's an interesting question. You should ask a better cellist how much theirs cost, because this one, she goes underneath in the belly of the plane most of the time because people are too cheap to buy us seats. So I'm glad it's not too expensive. Like a cello outfit, a professional cello outfit for a lot of people is probably 15 grand or more, 20 grand or more. This one is probably about 12,500, and then there's like a couple bows that go with it and all, and it's an expensive thing to do. But
I spoke to a gentleman who played the upright bass, and what I didn't know is that the older the instrument is when it comes to these stringed instruments, the more expensive they are.
Yeah,
It had a bass that was $70,000, $80,000, $90,000.
Yeah, we are in our building in New York City. We Pinka Zuckerman is our neighbor. I don't know if you know who. Yeah,
I know who he. Pinka Zuckerman was married. I don't know if he still is, to Tuesday Weld, the actress.
Yes, he was. Not anymore. Now he's married to a cellist called Amanda Forsyth. She's Canadian, and they're actually friends of ours now. But of course, they both have. So he has a violin and a viola upstairs, and she has a cello. They're all Italian. She has two cellos, actually. She lent me her second cello for a weekend, and that was a $90,000 cello. And their instruments upstairs. He has a Guarneri, I think it is. There's like $30 million worth of instruments upstairs.
Gosh.
So her cello's from 1699, and it's $2.5 million.
Yeah, it's a Testore. Her cello.
And where do you live exactly? Because I'm jumping on a plane now because I have to get into that apartment. I just have to.
Well, you're not there, so by all means.
They live on the never mind.
You guys have been beyond a delight. I'm sorry for the technical difficulty tonight. I want to play a little game though that I played. I was going to do it with Denice. And by the way, Denice wrote in that she said she loves the sound of the vocal with the cello. It blends so beautifully, and she's right. It sure does. But I want to play a little game. I was going to play it with Denice, and maybe I could bring Denice back. We could do it with her too. Can we do that? Can we bring Denice back? Is she there?
Yeah.
Denice, I'm bringing you back.
Hi,
There
Denice.
you are.
I'll unmute.
Say hello to Branden and James. Denice Hicks, guys.
You guys, hey, I have a beach house in Lewis, Delaware. You are like, you are a bike ride away from my beach house. I can't believe you said you're in Rehoboth.
But let me tell you, it's like 80 degrees and 95% humidity.
Yeah, well, yeah, but you got the bay and the ocean, and forget about it.
So I want to play this game with both of you. We've never done this before. This is great, and we call it what do we call it? Oh, that's right. We call it You Become the Host for one question each. So we're gonna start. Denice, we'll start with you. So you get one question to ask me, any question you want. I can't promise I'll tell the truth, but I'll try.
So Patrick, I am interested in if you have ever like really messed up in a performance. Have you gone up? Have you missed an entrance? And I want to hear that story.
Oh, well, how long do you have and how many times it's happened? I don't know. To be honest with you, I'm not so sure that I ever got a performance right. I think I've always been right. But I'll give you two quick ones because they're really, really good. Well, one was I was doing Assassins, and I remember Stephen Sondheim was there, and Paul Gemignani, the musical director, the great Paul Gemignani, and Jerry Zaks, the director. And we were in previews, so you would rehearse in the daytime and then do a show at night. Well, this new section of the Ballad of Booth went in. And I was petrified. And Jerry Zaks said, that goes in the show tonight. So I had to learn this whole new section lyrically. And we all know Steve Sondheim's lyrics are really hard. And I started the show, and it was, the beginning it was the opening, which is someone tell the story, someone sing the song, that whole thing. And I got through part of it, and then I finished it. I was like, oh my gosh. And then I got to the part that I knew, which was Johnny Booth was a handsome devil, got up in his rings and fancy silks, right? And I got to the section where he sings, why did you do it, Johnny? Nobody agrees. You who had everything. Da, da, da. Anyway, I sang the first verse second, and the first verse stops, and the music kept going. So I kept going like this, because of bad reviews, because of bad reviews, because there was just too much music there. So the answer is yes. I also split my pants in Pirates of Penzance, my first Saturday night, and that was a whole revealing moment too.
A whole revealing.
Yes, exactly, a whole revealing. Well, I've told this story before. I split my pants, and I had a dance belt on, but the split had gone from the seam all the way down, from the top, right by my crotch, all the way down to my ankle. And by the time Maureen McGovern, who was playing Mabel, came on to sing this beautiful love duet, she was all serious. The whole audience was laughing. And she comes on and she says, "My Frederick in tears, I cannot be." And I said, "No, Mabel, no. A terrible disclosure has just been made." And the whole audience started laughing, and there we go. So there you go. There's the times that I've on stage.
Love it.
Branden and James, your turn.
Wait, do we get one only between us or one each?
Okay. Go ahead. Whatever you want.
Well, I was going to ask you. We met you in Los Angeles, and then the last time I think we saw you was in Kansas City, Missouri.
Right.
But I want to know how your new life in Tennessee is going.
It's awesome. I mean, it is awesome in the sense that when we came here, when Melissa and I decided to come here, the opportunity to be a part of Studio Tenn was amazing. And that started off it started off in the perfect place. I was about to direct my first show. I was about to announce my first season. I was meeting people. I was doing, and then of course COVID happened. it has been weird in the sense that I've just come to the state, to the community, to the job, to the people, to the staff, and we've kind of been in this quarantine. But for me, what it's allowed me to do is it's allowed me to connect, like, for example, to people like Denice, the other artistic directors. It's allowed me to slow down the train and sort of get on the train and take a look around and say, oh, I get to learn this. I get to learn this. I get to maybe fix this. I get to then contribute this, as opposed to this train would have been going and I would have been running behind trying to get on the caboose, So in some ways, it's been a huge blessing for me personally. And like Denice said about Shakes, it gives us a chance to reevaluate. And therefore, when we come back, there's a rebirth. And so in that way, it's been awesome. And I love Tennessee. There is something so much about Southern hospitality. It is kind, it is genuine, and it is generous, and it's awesome.
That's exactly how I felt in Texas, actually.
Yeah.
The hospitality, for sure.
So, Branden, go ahead.
Okay, you might not be able to answer this, but can you tell your viewers and me one thing about your mom that we don't know?
Oh, wow. Wow.
It could be something that you knew about her growing up or as an adult. I know you've worked with her several times. I just find your life is so fascinating. Like, most of us didn't come from a family like yours, and I'm just so curious.
Well, thank you. No, it's actually a great question. The one thing about my mom I think that is interesting that maybe a lot of people don't know is my mom's an only child, and she has had this persona, as the ingenue, as the girl next door, as Pollyanna in some ways. But the truth is, she's really a rebel. And that's what, I mean, my mother actually watches documentaries about serial killers. She likes Bundy, and she likes documentaries about history and stuff like that. And it's always the thing about my mom, because she's Mrs. Partridge and she's, this beautiful ingenue and all those movie musicals, but she's got a rebel to her. And yet she is everything she is seen as, in terms of, she's kind and she's generous and she likes documentaries about serial killers. So there you go.
We were so flattered that one time she came to our showcase and was sitting there in tears afterwards and gave us a big hug, and I'll never forget that. It was very special.
Well, she's watching tonight, guys. So
hi, Shirley.
Yeah, she is watching tonight. So listen, I have to say goodbye. You guys, what an extraordinary show. Again, so sorry about the technical stuff. And but you guys, the two of you, Branden and James, we have to get you here. We will get you here to limited capacity when we can. And so I want Middle Tennessee to get to hear you guys live, because you're extraordinary. Extraordinary.
I would love to come to Tennessee. I've never been, so I'm looking forward to it.
And Denice, maybe we can bring them as two companies together. Shakes and
Absolutely. We team up and bring them in. Yeah, you guys are going to love it here. It's just that it's a sweet, wonderful, welcoming place, and you'll feel right at home. We say, y'all come back now. Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you all. You're amazing. Thank you for being guests on Studio Tenn Talks. I'll see you soon.
Thank you for having us.
Bye, guys.
Everybody.
Bye, Denice.
Bye.
Oh, well. That is our show for tonight. That is our show. And we are, again, sorry to our viewers for our little technical William Geis, who's an amazing technical producing wizard, actually changed out the computers while we were showing the West Side Story suite. So lucky to be back. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys loved Branden and James. We will get them here. Remember, to get tickets this week, we're starting to sell tickets for our virtual variety show. It's going to be amazing. It was a pleasure to meet your mom, and what a forever beauty. Thank you. Hi, Shirley. Thanks, Chris. And those tickets go on sale this week. And remember, this is the time. Look at your bottom screen where we survive by just donations, because we can't do shows other than Studio Tenn Talks. And we have an incredible cast of guests coming up. Next week, we have Treat Williams on, who was in the movie Hair and Prince of the City, and he was My Pirate King on Broadway. And then after that, we have Kelly O'Hara, and then after that, we have Jason Alexander, and then after that, we have Miss Patti LuPone. So please tune in. Please stay with us. Give what you can. This is how we survive. We are all going to get through this together. I promise. I promise. Thank you so much. We do a little goodbye song, but I think we've done a lot of goodbye songs. So I'm just going to say thank you and good night.